Mr. Olay, other officials of the Consulate, all our distinguished alumni who have gathered here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to be standing here in front of you and sharing some thoughts about the institute that we all love. First of all, thank you for joining us here, taking time. I know everybody is very busy, especially this being Monday. Again, I'm sure you have all been very busy and still found time to come to this meeting. I'm really grateful for it. At the last moment during our planning for this visit, unfortunately, we had to make a major change. I'm standing here representing the director of the institute, Professor Alumni, who took over the reins in November last year. And this was his first visit to the US as director, and he was very keen to meet all our alumni. But just the day we were to catch the flight to the US, he got a family emergency, mother was critically ill. So at that last moment, he had to cancel his visit and go to Kolkata. And therefore, he is not here today, so he has sent his regret and apology to all of you. Fortunately, his mother's condition has improved, so he will be here tomorrow. But unfortunately, he is going to miss this meeting. From IITK, therefore, I am as the dean of faculty and one representative, Professor Munshi, who is sitting over there. Please stand up and let everyone. Just took over a few months ago as the Dean of Resources and Alumni, which was earlier called Dean of Resource Planning and Integration. I would like to also thank all our alumni who have helped us during our visit here, organizing various events over the last few days. In no particular order, Rakesh Sharma, Vishal Sacheti, Sanjeev Khosla, Anil Bansal, and Achal Mehra for doing a great job and taking care of us, organizing everything. And also, my sincere thanks to Indian Consulate, everyone here for being to host us here. Thank you very much. I've been asked to give a state of the institute address, so let me share some of the things that we are doing. When Professor Manna took over, there were certain initiatives which were already in the pipeline, so we sat down and reviewed the entire spectrum of gamut of things we are doing at the institute and arrived at some of the key initiatives that we would like to see implemented in a short period of time. And I would like to share them with you. And these have already been put in motion, so they are already moving along, and over the next few years we will hear much more about these initiatives. The first one, as Dean of Faculty, that's my domain, is to recruit faculty. At IITK, we are 350 faculty members roughly at this instant, and which is a much smaller number than we would like it to be. And my target over the next 3 years to recruit another 100 faculty for the institute, which is a significant target, and a lot of we have to approach this issue from multiple dimensions, and so the other initiatives that we have taken also reflect or have a component which will affect this recruitment process. And your eventual target in terms of faculty is to reach at least 600 from 350 and over the next, say, 10 years or so. Associated with the faculty recruitment is the job, is to provide, when we have more faculty, we have to provide them infrastructure for doing the research. So we are started the creation of a research complex, which is about 30,000 square meter of research lab area of various kinds, which will be allocated for various projects to our faculty members. Our institute also, being in Kanpur, has this disadvantage of connectivity with the more industrialized part of the country, and this sometimes does hinder from reaching out to either people coming in or people reaching out from IIT. So to address that issue is very important for us, and you'll be happy to know that we have recently, this month, launched a helicopter service from IIT airstrip to the Lucknow airport. So that distance and that reach is significantly reduced, and we can fly to the Lucknow airport in 20 minutes. And we are also working on starting a small aircraft service from our airstrip to Delhi, which will also help us in improving the connectivity of the campus. At the same time, we are also investing in reaching out to not just staying in Kanpur, but reaching out to various parts of the world, I should say. We have a campus in Noida with about 5 acres of land where we are constructing our outreach center, which will have a mini convention center plus facilities for organizing meetings, workshops, and also housing startups from our alumni. And very recently, you probably may be aware that we have started an office in the US, right here in New York, at near Wall Street. It's 62 William Street, if I remember correctly. It's a reasonably large 2,000 square feet of space, thanks to Sanjeev Costa sitting there. And he's also helping us coordinate activities of this office. And our aim is to use this office in helping the institute in multiple ways, including faculty recruitment, fundraising, student internship jobs, getting funding for student or alumni-led startups. And as we go along, we'll develop more and more interesting things to do through this office. And finally, I just mentioned about foreign students coming to IIT, and that is also something we would really like to see happening. And so we have started to actively pursue programs for foreign students, both at the undergraduate and postgraduate level. The postgraduate level is relatively easier to implement, but we don't want to stop there. We want to have at least 10% of our undergraduate population or overall student population eventually to consist of foreign students. That's our target over the next decade or so. So these are very ambitious initiatives, and our alumni form our biggest source of strength and support. And as we go along this initiative, I really look forward to, not just me and the whole institute, we really look forward to support from all of you and other alumni in helping us achieve these objectives. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Professor Agarwal. I'm sure many of us will have questions for you. What we have done is that at the end of all the sessions, we will have a Q&A with Professor Agarwal and his colleague who are here on some of the things that he has mentioned. We will move at this time to our keynote speaker, which is Professor Sheena Iyengar, who's going to talk to us on the art of choosing. Professor Iyengar holds a PhD in social psychology from Stanford University and is presently Professor of Management at Columbia Business School and Director of the Global Leadership Matrix at Columbia University. Professor Iyengar is a well-renowned expert on the subject of choice an author of a critically acclaimed book, The Art of Choosing, in which he explores the ways in which people make choices, the relationship between how we choose and who we are, and how much control we really have over our everyday choices. Her insights apply both in business as well as, I guess, for individuals. So I'm sure we will all look forward to her conversation on that subject.
Good evening, everyone. It's often said that everything begins with a story. So I thought I would start by telling you the story of my life. I was born in Toronto in November of 1969. Yes, I just told you my age. I was born in the midst of a very bad blizzard. My mother had just immigrated from India, Delhi, to Toronto and found herself all alone in a hospital room with a newborn baby. My father hadn't yet made his way over. He was still trying to get the right amount of visas to join her. I often wonder what it must have been like for my mother that night. She was all alone in this foreign country. Perhaps she was holding me in her arms. Maybe she was staring outside the window. Maybe she was seeing snowflakes rolling around for the first time in her life. The low visibility of that night and the absence of my father would prove important of things to come, unbeknownst to my mom. Now, you could say that at that moment when I was born, everything about my life was already known. All you had to do was read it in my palm or in the stars. Everything about my life was already predetermined. It had already been decided either by the hand of God or by some other unnameable force. And the only thing left for me to do was to confirm the text. So that is one story of my life. Let me now tell you another story of my life. It's a jack-in-the-box life. You open it up carefully, one parcel at a time, but things just happen to at times spring up and out. And that's actually what I ended up doing. I was rather impatient about getting out of the womb, and so I sprung out 1 month earlier than expected, and my father wasn't even there to receive me. My parents were Sikhs. They left India, and in fact my mother, who had never intended to leave India, in fact her conqueror had told her just the day before she got married that she would never leave India. But there she was, going from Delhi to Toronto, and then from Toronto to Flushing, Queens, and then later into New Jersey. Everywhere my parents went, they took their Sikh culture with them. And if there wasn't a gurdwara already there, they helped start a gurdwara. And their intention was to raise me as a very good Sikh child. So I used to go to the gurdwara every Friday night, every Saturday night, and most of my Sundays were spent in the gurdwara. I was taught the importance of the 5 Ks, and like a good Sikh girl, I never cut my hair. I wore my kada at all times on my right arm. I kept my kacha on at all times, including in the shower. And I understood that when I grew up, I was going to be a good Sikh girl and obviously become either a doctor or an engineer. And of course, when I grew up, I was going to go to India, and a line of men, Sikh boys, of course, would going to line up, and a good, proper husband would be chosen for me. So that was the plan. But life has this way of poking holes in the best laid plans of mice and men. And so when I was 3, my parents started to wonder what was wrong with me. They had to constantly say, watch out. Even a klutz ought to notice at least an occasional parking meter on occasion. And the mystery was solved by an eye doctor here at the Columbia Presbyterian Hospital, who told my parents when I was a little over 3 years old that I had a rare form of retinitis pigmentosa, and that I would go blind sometime during my school years. Well, it is sometimes said that difficult things happen to the resilient. And then again, you might say you become more resilient when difficult things happen to you. No matter, even the resilient can have the wind knocked right out of them. When I was 13, my father woke up one morning and complained of a leg pain. My mother did the usual things of, telling me I had to go to the doctor, and he, of course, promised that he would. I don't think he ever made it to the doctor. In fact, later on that day, he was found collapsed outside a bar in Manhattan. And by the time he actually made it to the hospital, he'd had his third and fatal heart attack, and it was no more. This is not to say that life is solely made up of random and unpleasant events. But how well can any of us plan our futures when we can only see so far, and when the weather can change faster than we might say, well, surprise. So that is the second story of my life. Now I have a third story of my life, and although it is again my story, I think this time it is a story that is shared by every single one of us in this room. My parents left India. They chose to leave India. They chose first to go to Canada, and then they chose to come to the United States. They were, like every one of us in this room, in pursuit of a different life, of a better life for themselves, of a better life for their children. We often refer to it as the American dream. My father, when he left Toronto, I was a little over 2 years old, he got in a car and he decided he just had to leave Canada. And when he first landed in New York City, he said he had exactly $1 in his pocket, but that he came here with a lot of dreams. I was born into that dream, and you might say that as someone who was learning the language of America, the lingua franca of this country, I perhaps understood that dream even better than he did. And I understood that what shined so bright in the center of that dream that you could see it even if you were blind like me was choice. So I have told you the story of my life in terms of fate, in terms of chance, in terms of choice. Any one of you could ask yourselves, how did I go from there to here? And you could think about how the circumstances of your birth enabled you to get here today. You could think about all those random events that enabled you to be here today. And you could think about the choices that you made that enabled you to be here today. And I guarantee you that no matter how you answer that question, you will uncover a truth about yourself. You will discover something about what it is that made you who you are. But I think there's something very special when we tell the story of our lives in terms of choice. Because it's only when we tell the story of our lives in terms of choice that it gives meaning to everything we say and do. In the end, regardless of what fate and chance may have in store for us, we can choose what path we want to take. And ultimately, we are evaluated by the choices that we make. So choice is a very empowering thing in our life. But that still begs the question, how are you supposed to make a choice? So here I am, a blind Indian American girl growing up